All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're good to go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am Norman Landris Jr., the moderator for this evening's annual financial town meeting. Good evening and welcome to all for the West Warwick fiscal year 2022 financial town meeting. It is Tuesday, May 18th, 2021, and the time is approximately 6:11. The meeting is convened. Again, although things are getting better around West Warwick and throughout the world, this is our second financial town meeting by Zoom. So please have some patience and we will get through this, and slowly but surely we'll be together again. Could I have the roll call done by the town clerk, please?
Town Council President David Goslin.
Here.
Town Council Vice President Maribeth Williamson.
Here.
Town Councilman Jason Messier.
Here.
Town Councilman Jason Licciardi. School Committee Chair Stephen Lawton.
Here.
School Committee Vice Chair Louis Cologne.
Here.
School Committee Member Rennie Kutu. School Committee Member Joseph DiMartino.
Here.
School Committee Member Susan St. Amand.
Here.
Quorum is declared.
Thank you, town clerk. I now ask Councilman Jason Messier to lead us in the prayer, please.
Thank you. The following passage comes from Dr. Wayne W. Dyer. When you are able to shift your inner awareness to how you can serve others, and when you make this the central focus of your life, you will then be in a position to know true miracles in your progress toward prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Messier. I could recognize Vice Chairman Louis Cologne of the school committee to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And guys, I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America,
to the
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Louis Cologne.
Thanks, Norm.
Third on the agenda is the reading of the warrant. Madam Town Clerk.
I'd make a motion to waive the reading of the warrant.
And I'll second that.
There's been a motion made by Vice President Maribeth Williamson, seconded by President David Goslin to waive the reading of the warrant. All those in favor of waiving the reading of the warrant, say aye.
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 Any nays? All right, the reading of the warrant will be waived. At this time, I would like to acknowledge and introduce all the individuals for this evening's Zoom financial town meeting from the town of West Warwick. From the municipal side, we have the Town Council President David Goslin Jr., Ward 2, Town Council Vice President Maribeth Williamson, Ward 1, members of the Town Council, Jason Messier, Ward 3, and it's my understanding Jason Licciardi will shortly be here as this meeting continues in Ward 4. Our Town Manager, Mark Knott, Town Solicitor Timothy Williamson. Welcome the new Town Clerk to her first financial town meeting, Sarah Repose, and the Finance Director, Kristen Benoit, as well as most department heads within the municipality are present here this evening. From the school department, we have School Committee Chairman Stephen Lawton, Vice Chairman Louis Cologne. Members of the school committee present are Joseph DiMartino, as well as Susan St. Amand. Superintendent of the schools, Karen Tarasevich. School Department Director of Financial Operations, Joseph Spagna. And I believe that's it for the school side. So again, welcome all of you this evening. This is the annual financial town meeting whereby the town manager, the town council, and school committee will give an overview of the fiscal year 2022 budget. This budget will be voted on this Thursday, May 20th, 2021, by all duly registered town voters. Shortly, you will be given overviews of the budget presentations They will be from School Superintendent Karen Tarasevich, Town Manager Mark Knott, and President David Goslin. Following these presentations, each and every one of you will be given the opportunity to raise your virtual hand and speak on this fiscal year 2022. Again, this evening is specifically about the 2022 budget. I ask that other concerns not related to this budget are saved for future town council and school committee meetings. Just a few rules from this moderator. All are certainly welcome to speak. During this evening, however, I would like to address questions orderly. So I will limit one question at a time. If an individual has more than one question, you certainly will be able to ask that question. Yet I would take others with questions first and get back to that individual's next question. When I do acknowledge you during the time, name and address or address a specific budget question or concern to this panel. I will then direct such to this panel for response, whether that's going to come from the municipal side, the school side, or the town manager to address each and every one's questions. Most importantly, as has been done since I've been moderating, let us keep all our comments, suggestions, and remarks civil and conduct ourselves in a very respectful manner. At this time, I ask Superintendent Karen Tarasevich her perspectives in the budget presentations at this time.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the Town Council, members of the school committee, and the public of West Warwick. On behalf of the West Warwick School Committee, I'm pleased to report that at their February meeting of the school committee, they voted to approve a balanced budget for fiscal year 22, which was presented to the Town Council this spring during our budget workshops. The school department's budget achieves 5 goals. The first goal is to present a balanced budget. The second, to support education and programming in the school department. The third, compliance with educational mandates as well as the basic education plan. 4, continued compliance with pension and OPEB contribution requirements. And 5, consideration of future budgets. In the FY22 budget, as I mentioned, it is a balanced budget with a number of 63,633,484, and this reflects no increase in appropriation from the town. The FY22 budget is balanced with an increase of 6% from FY21 in the amount of $3,387,807. Anticipated state aid, local appropriation, and Medicaid reimbursements will support this increase. Since March of last year, we have been living in uncertain times due to COVID-19. The pandemic has impacted all of our lives personally and professionally, and the school department has been no exception. We could not have anticipated the pandemic nor the issues related to reopening schools in a healthy and safe manner, providing academic programming and related services to our students, and the ability to staff 3 models of instruction delivery. As you recall, this time last year, due to the uncertainty of our state aid for FY21, we reduced our budget for this current year by $1.9 million by laying off several employees in order to present a balanced budget. Fortunately, we did eventually receive our state aid, and we were able to rehire all of the employees back to their previous positions. We have been fortunate in that the federal government has provided COVID relief funds, the CARES COVID relief funds, as well as the ESSER funds, which have helped support the additional COVID-related expenses for the district this year, including but not limited to facilities, rework of ventilation systems, air filtration, the addition of staff to support 3 models of instruction, and PPE. I would like to acknowledge Joe Spagner's efforts around the management of these funds, along with our local budgets and federal grants. This has not been an easy system to manage, as the additional COVID funds have stringent restrictions that require constant monitoring and balancing with our local budget. Since the submission of our first budget to the town manager in February, we have amended our original submission. The remaining CARES and ESSER COVID relief aid we did receive this year we have been able to reduce our proposed FY22 budget by reducing certain line items we were able to expend in this current year to the end of a request for level funding from the town for FY22. As the school department has demonstrated over the past several years, we are committed to helping in the town's fiscal recovery efforts. Our revised FY22 budget includes a zero increase of local appropriation from the town, and we propose level funding for FY22. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Tarasevich. At this time, I'll acknowledge the Town Manager, Mark Knott, for a few words on the budget as well.
Good evening, elected and appointed officials, fellow employees, and fellow West Warwick citizens. And welcome to the second to last public event related to the proposed fiscal year 22 budget. The last event being the all-day referendum on Thursday between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. at the West Warwick Civic Center on Factory Street. I'd like to take a moment to commend and thank Karen and her team, as well as the school committee, for their hard work on both the fiscal matters and what appears to be another successful school year under some very difficult circumstances. I'd like to provide a brief overview on what brought us here tonight. Through some intelligent and conservative fiscal planning by our former town manager, Ernest Simlinski, meticulous reporting and oversight by our finance director, Kristen Benoit, responsible budgeting and responsive operational plans by our department heads and employees, the town of West Warwick has taken some great strides over the past few years. After a near fiscal disaster in 2017, we have operated more efficiently and ended the subsequent years with surpluses. We have fully funded our ARC, or annual required contribution, in a sincere long-term effort to restore our pension system to a properly funded level. We have worked hard to maintain appropriate levels of public services and address shortcomings as quickly as possible. We continue to create better municipal employee standards and benefit offerings to be able to attract and maintain the best qualified candidates available. We have restored our emergency reserves, or fund balance account, to a level that can mitigate emergencies. And we have slowly infused funding to address the town's many crumbling infrastructure and service equipment needs. The FY22 budget process started last fall in the middle of a pandemic. Facing a lot of uncertainty, our department heads were instructed to be responsible stewards of the funding that they were about to request and to be prepared to explain how the funds were to be used to address departmental goals. Finance Director Benoit continuously updated the town's financial picture, and we worked together on the town manager's proposed budget that was presented back in mid-March. We had two public workshops at which each department head explained their goals and financial needs. The town council reviewed the submissions, made some adjustments both up and down based on their priorities, and held two public hearings at the end of March and the beginning of April. Negative fiscal impacts on the town due to COVID have been minimal. We have had some overtime replacement cost, increased expenses on and for proper cleaning and disinfection of town facilities, slight loss of some anticipated revenues, and some technology expenses to be able to provide for Zoom meetings, online public access for some services, and remote access workstations. Many of these costs have been or will be reimbursed partially or in full through designated federal COVID funding. There has been a lot of talk coming out of Washington, D.C. about significant amounts of federal funds that are being sent to municipalities and counties to help communities recover from disastrous financial and societal effects of the pandemic. We have not factored this anticipated funding, expected to be in the millions of dollars, into this proposed town budget. I want to reiterate that we do not plan on using American Rescue Plan funds to offset our operating budgets, thereby creating future structural deficits. The federal guidance on the American Rescue Plan funds seek to promote water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure improvements, recovery of lost revenue due to COVID, numerous community grant opportunities, and essential worker pay stipends. As more guidance and the funds become available, I anticipate promoting a public process to share in deciding West Warwick's recovery priorities. Again, American Rescue Plan funds have no bearing on this budget proposal. Finally, on Thursday, you'll be asked to approve the town's request to seek a $7 million road bond. Our roadways are in dire need of attention. Many need to be redone, and many more require preventative maintenance to prolong their service life. If approved, work will begin this year. The first interest payment would not be due until fiscal year 23, and the cost of the bond is expected to be offset by current bond payments that will be expiring over the next few years. Due to the hard work of the panelists here on Zoom and the employees of the town, input from interested members of the public, and a relatively decent economy, the fiscal year 2022 budget is calling for a 0% tax increase while maintaining the public services expected of our taxpayers. I will defer to Council President David Goslin on the highlights of the proposed fiscal year 2022 budget that is before you this evening, and respectfully request that you come out on Thursday for 15 minutes and join me in voting yes to approve this budget and to support the local road bond request. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Town Manager Knott. Now, if we could hear from the President of Town Council, David Goslin.
Good evening, and thank you. And on behalf of the West Warwick Town Council, thank you for attending tonight's annual financial town meeting via Zoom. I'm going to try not to repeat what the town manager has said here tonight and keep this short, but we do have some comments that do match each other. The town manager, the town council, department heads, all employees, the school department, school committee have been faced with some challenges this year. This year has been a very interesting year as we are faced with the pandemic, and we had to reinvent how we did business, how our police and fire had to respond to calls, as well as our DPW and sewer plants operated. Our schools had to reinvent how our students and teachers had to perform their day-to-day functions. During all that, we have also heard from many residents in our community. In this budget, we listened. The council was given an original budget that included a 2.1% tax increase and has worked the current budget down to a 2.57 levy increase and a 0% tax increase. I want to point out, we are using $0 of the American Rescue Plan. Again, I just want to repeat, it's a 0% tax increase and $0 are coming out of the American Rescue Plan. The town is obligated to make its pension contribution for our hardworking men and women who serve as taxpayers and serve you as taxpayers. We will be funding our ARC at 100%. We are also adding $511,000 in capital needs, $80,000 in police needs, $136,000 in fire department needs, $270,000 in DPW needs, $10,000 for town hall improvements, and $15,000 for IT improvements. Over the years, I've heard West Warwick has no room for growth. Well, West Warwick is growing. Take a look around. Take a look at all the condos in Arctic, and many people were like, really, condos in Arctic? They are all built and they are all sold. Look at the mill on East Main Street as renovations are taking place there for future growth. Look at new businesses on Pulaski Street, future businesses coming in the plans for East Main Street. There's plenty of plans in the hopper for future growth year over year. Our tax collections are even increasing by 2.13%. State aid is continuing coming in and increasing by $828,000. And other department revenue is increased by $117,000. It seems year after year, we are faced with new challenges, and this is what builds character. I think I've seen it all, and then something new pops up. I've been through the Governor Licciardi's cuts to cities and towns, floods of 2010, pension reform, now COVID-19. But one thing I'll say is West Warwick always pulls together in times of need. I have faith in the leaders, department heads, employees of this town to make this budget work and do what they can each and every year. Last but not least is the second question on the all-day referendum, which is a $7 million road bond. The town council has brought this to you, the voter and taxpayer, for a decision. We urge you to support this road bond. This will repair many roads, sidewalks in our town. The estimated cost, depending on interest rates, will be around $449,000 per year. It will not be due until 2023, and at that point, our debt service from other bonds will be dropping by $1 million or so, which will absorb the expense of the actual road bond. Please do not think 0% means you do not have to vote. Please get out and vote at the West Warwick Civic Center, as the town manager said, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. We have seen other communities vote no on 0% increase and still do not have a budget as of today. Please support this budget and please support the road bond. Thank you for your attendance and listening to our 2022 financial town meeting. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, President Goslin. So that concludes the speakers on our budget presentation. At this time, I will open the forum to public comment at this time. Is there any public comment? I don't see any virtual hands up with any of the attendees as well as the panelists that are included here. Take another look. So with no hands, there is no public comment from my perspective as the moderator. Again, before I take a motion to adjourn, I as well want to remind everyone the vote is this Thursday, May 20th, 2021 for the fiscal year budget 2022. I do hope everyone gets out and votes their perspective on the budget. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a
Second
second?
that. I would
A
second that.
motion, thank you. A motion made by Councilman Messier, seconded by Vice President Maribeth Williamson. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Are there any nays?
Aye.
With that, that concludes this year's financial town meeting on the fiscal year 2022. Thank you all for your input and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Town
Thank you,
council,
Norman.
town
Are we
council
staying
stay
up?
on this link, yes.
Stay on this link. Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. And we just set
But
a
we
new
have-
record. We set a new record for the fastest town financial meeting in the history of West Warwick.
But we do have to wait till 7, do we not?
Oh, boy, do we?
Yes,
Unfortunately.
unfortunately.
When's
It
Sarah
wasn't-
put on the agenda?
It wasn't
7.
posted as immediately following, so we do have to wait till 7.
So are we
All
going
right.
to just we're staying on? Or I'm just going to sign back on with same link though, right, Joe?
Yep, same link.
All right, I'm just going to sign off and come back.
Okay.
I
All right, everyone,
Yeah. We're-
have a great night,
Yeah.
everyone. I'll see you.
Thank you, Norman.
Thank you,
Thank you,
thank you
Norm.
very much,
No
Norm.
problem.
We appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
See you Thursday.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, Jay.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Everybody's.
Well, I'm on the right link.
Yep. Everybody's just about back. Should be starting very shortly.
All right, let me know when everybody's ready.
All set on my end, Dave, and I can see Jason Licciardi and Jason Messier signed back in. As long as Mary Beth is here, I believe she is, we're good to go. Sarah's here.
All right, let me know, are we recording?
Yep, still recording.
All right, meeting called to order. It's now 7:01 PM. Town Council meeting via Zoom.
All right, roll call. Councilman Messier,
Here.
Councilman Licciardi,
Here.
Council Vice President Williamson,
Here.
and Council President David Goslin.
Here.
Quorum is on record. All right, first order of business is the approval of the minutes from the May 11th, 2021 regular town council meeting.
Move approval of the minutes.
My second.
Moving second, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Councilman Licciardi,
Yes.
Councilman Messier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williamson,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Okay, next order of business is a request from Boomerangs Roadhouse for car show license for events to be held at 293 Providence Street.
I'm going to recuse myself from this item.
For the record, Councilman Messier has recused himself.
I would move the licenses.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion?
Just a question about the size of that lot. Does it work? You guys might know better than I, and whether the police have an issue, Mark, or I don't know if Ernie's on or not.
I know Paula had asked about this about a week and a half ago. And the lot itself seems like if they occupy it for a car show, that visitors would have to park elsewhere. So it's obviously private property. So I'm not sure what role the town has or what authority we have other than to issue a permit based on our ordinances and rules, or if they wanted to have an amplifier at it. Everything else would be between the property owners there for permission to be out and about.
So Pat from Boomerangs has his hand up. I'll let him speak. Pat, just for the record, just state your name and address.
Hi, guys. Pat Kane, 140 High Street, Westerly, Rhode Island, 02891. And also Richard George, who is the organizer for the car show. He would be available to be brought in. He's an older guy, so I think we'd probably do it by phone if you guys wanted to speak with him. And that's the same organizer that does the car shows at Oakland Beach and Rocky Point Clam Shack on Post Road. So he had, and also because the car show is going to use the plaza, including the side that shares parking with Porcelli's Auto Body. So that side of the building is also to be utilized. So they were going to line the classic cars along the exterior of the plaza. And then the interior spaces would be what would be reserved for, like, visitors or patrons. We're also going to be keeping parking open for the game store and the other businesses in the plaza accordingly. So, and I know that they have support people. The organizer has support people that organizes the parking with cones and such to, designate parking that's to be, excluded from the car show. I'm not sure if that went through. Okay.
Pat,
Go
I just have a couple of questions.
Sure.
I've been on the council a very long time, and there's some specific residents over there that have brought, complaints to us and so on. And if there's a parking disaster per se, obviously you're going to fill up the lot with the cars themselves, and probably your patrons who are coming to the car show and to your restaurant will be parking up and down Providence Street.
I don't think there can be any street parking. What we have discussed with the organizer and Envision doesn't include any street parking. And I don't think there is really street parking on Providence Street in that way. So I don't think people are able to park on the street or that we would be doing that. In fact, I could see us, if people did try to do that, I could see, I don't think there's parking on the street here. Am I wrong on that? But I don't think there is street parking here.
Well, there's definitely no parking signs there. So
right. Oh,
well,
so people technically could or something, but I don't think it's practical. The street's not really wide enough to accommodate people parking up and down the street.
And then the only other thing that I would worry about is obviously, sometimes when they're taking off from these car shows, they like to pull their little burners or whatever they do on the main street. And I'm just trying to prevent those complaints coming our way in the future. So the only concern that I have right now is where would the parking be? I know there's some facilities around you with some big parking lots, but I'm not sure if you have permission to park there. I know the old Providence Street, the old school across the street has a big parking lot behind it. And I'm not sure if you're able to utilize those parking areas.
And we don't know what scale this event is going to be either. So that's a question that we've gotten, how many cars are there going to be and questions of that nature. And at this time, we don't know what scale the event would be at. However, if there were other parking areas that were to become available to us, by it, through a partnership with a property owner elsewhere on the street, and the event, needed further parking, that would be great. But at this time, we don't have that arrangement. So, any kind of arrangement like that, if it were to become necessary, at this point would be speculative because we don't have a commitment from somebody for any kind of overflow parking. But I don't know that we have no intentions of this exceeding the size of the plazas, the parking that that's able to be accommodated here. So, again, obviously we don't know what's going to happen, but
based on the sketch that's attached to the agenda, it looks like the classic cars will go along the back, the strip mall in the back, and where the Dunkin' Donuts used to be.
And also along the side of
where Purcell's is.
Correct. Yep.
And so the parking that you intend to use for the restaurant for people to attend.
Right.
Again, I guess that's an assumption. People will go to the restaurant too. I'm not sure about that, or if they'll just go to the cars, is right in that main area when you pull in right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess my only concern is I'd encourage it, but parking I think could be an issue. The fact that the license is asking for Sundays from May through October, is there some way we could shorten that to see how this works, or
sure.
How do we?
Yeah, absolutely. And that would be an agreement that because even for us, this is a trial item. Even if it didn't work for us for some reason, we might not pursue it for that long either. If for any variable of reasons, it wasn't a positive thing. So
I'd prefer to shorten it to maybe through, just to have a couple to see how it works, to be honest with you. But I don't know what the rest of the council members think about that.
Could I make a couple of suggestions?
Surely.
Number one, I think it probably is going to benefit both parties if you have somebody from building and perhaps somebody from the police department go down there so you can mark out exactly where the custom cars are going to be.
Yep.
versus where your customers are going to be. That would be number one. Number two, I think the councilwoman's correct. You probably should work from May through July 1st for 90 days and then come back and go August to
That'd be great.
October. The third thing would be don't put from afternoon until dusk. I would have defined times when it was going to start and when it's going to end, because as we all know, people can misinterpret what dusk means. So if you don't have a time, we don't want to get anybody.
So I know the
jammed up.
paperwork that, sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Williamson. I didn't mean to do that, but I agree. And that's, we could just, and that's like even the flyer that the organizer put was, he started the show at 4 o'clock. I think the paperwork that you guys have says 3. So I mean, you know, I don't think the gentleman, but they may have their organizers may come on site more at 3 to start putting the cones out.
I would think the
and
more
things, so I could see that.
specifics, the more specifics you
Right.
can put in and less speculation would be better for everybody, including
Right.
Your neighbors. So
Just
Would
type some
would saying something like 3 to 9 or something like
Yeah,
that?
the
or-
actual license does say, the license application itself does say May 23rd, 3 to 9. And then it
Okay.
says Sunday, May through October. So I would argue whether 9 o'clock is dusk, but that's just my,
Right, and
Yeah.
we are looking to end it at dusk. You know, it's just what you know, what time the sun goes down. I mean, it can
Yeah.
be 8 o'clock or 8:30. So,
right.
but and I know that the organizer is going to have to collect his cones and take his stuff down and whatever. But so I think
So
that's
are
the
you
other
looking
reason
to
why we
have
ordered them.
that? You're looking to have that this coming Sunday, the first one.
Well, I know the organizer would like to, because there's been some change with one of his other events. So that's why the organizer approached us with this opportunity. And so I know, and this is the same, I forget to mention that this is the same organizer that's doing the cruise night on Wednesdays on Pulaski Street at the Little Roadie Storage. So this gentleman that's seeking to do this event here is the same gentleman that does that event in West Warwick already at Little Roadie Storage. But I know that just started last week. So he is looking to start it this Sunday, but you know, I mean, that's obviously we want to proceed in a manner that's comfortable for everybody. So whatever we need to do.
Pat, can I ask you a question? This is Councilman Jason Licciardi.
Sure.
Is there music going to be there?
So
Anything
not this Sunday. They would like to play, and this gentleman plays oldies music. So they would like to do that, and I believe that there has already been an application for an amplifier license, but for that requires notification of the abutting property owners. So I believe that process has begun, but there would be no music until that would be approved.
So if it does get approved at some point, the only suggestion I would make is, because this isn't a one-time event, it's going to be a weekly thing on a Sunday. There are still houses in the areas, and the music does carry. So I know issues I've had in the past where, all right, it's a one-time thing, it's loud, okay, it's okay, we'll deal with it. But if it's going to be a weekly thing, just please be courteous to the neighbors.
Absolutely. You know, in my experience, this guy does not play the music very loud, but certainly if it were to become, and we could even have an arrangement if you guys wanted to have a stipulation to the license that if you wanted to say that the music portion ended early, like again, like the license application is asking for it to be from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. I don't think we need to be playing music at 9 p.m. So you could say music's off by 8, something like that, so that it's not later in the evening. And then certainly I can understand what you're saying about the volume of it to begin with. So
we can worry about that when that comes before the council in June.
surely.
Is there any other comments about the car show? Hearing no, any public comment? I don't see any. I'll take a roll call vote. Councilman Licciardi?
Can I ask
voting
what we're
yes,
actually voting on? Can I ask what we're voting on? Just to, because we talked
Oh,
about
I'm
changing
sorry.
this. Yes,
As amended till July 1. Do you want to keep the 3 PM to 9 PM?
with the understanding that we may have to change that depending on how it goes,
Yeah,
I
if
would
we-
think.
If we're
If
gonna
there's
revisit,
complaints, if there are complaints, it can be brought back before the council to address the complaints and also make amendments to the agreement that's reached tonight. But again, I think if the council ties in 3 PM to 9 PM, the music will be off by 8 o'clock PM.
well, the music's not on the agenda tonight.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
I'm
no
sorry.
music yet. Yeah.
But just have stuff, building department and police go down there just to verify where the classic cars are gonna be versus parking, so we don't have any confusion after the fact between any of the neighboring business owners or property owners.
I'd like the fire department to be part of that also.
I was just
Yes.
gonna say,
If need be,
pending
sure.
police, fire, pending
Thank
police
you.
and fire.
And then that way you're more specific and keep this open until, again, David, I would say go through July 31st.
Yeah, I would not. I would go to June 27th is the last Sunday in
All
June.
right.
I would, yeah,
And cut it off at June, and then you can bring it back for
Right.
the next 60 or 90 days.
Yeah,
right.
we'll do a review, see if there's any complaints. I'm sure some of us may attend just to check it out. So, and trust me, Mary Beth, if it's a disturbance, you will get phone calls from that area.
I am well aware of that.
So do you want to put it on the agenda for the June 23rd meeting? I'm sorry, June
Yes.
22nd?
Yes,
yes.
Sarah, did you get that?
I don't believe that's a normal meeting date. That's the fourth Tuesday. You guys are usually first and third, correct?
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, you're right. That would be the
So-
16th, the 15th.
The 15th, I
15th.
think, would be the June 15th meeting. So we'll be addressing their amplifier license at the June 8th meeting. And then we would discuss the renewal of this at the June 15th meeting. Or how would you guys like to handle that?
I would put just review for the time being, and then if anything should change, if there's any complaints, the agenda can always be modified.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
So the vote is to approve it through June 27th.
Yeah.
3 PM to 9 PM. And have a review by buildings, police and fire.
Correct.
Yes.
I'll go back. Any other public comment? Just checking, making sure there's no chat. No public comment. I'll take a roll call vote. Councilman Licciardi,
I'm gonna vote yes.
Councilwoman Williamson,
Yes,
and I'm gonna vote yes. I'm gonna give it a chance and see how it goes.
right.
And again, Councilman Messier recused himself.
I'm not sure if the councilors can hear me or not, but I wanted to say thank you very much. We will see how it goes. This is also a trial for us as well. So, the arrangements that you guys have discussed tonight certainly work for us. We'll be back again before you on the 8th for this amplifier license. And then we'll talk about it on the 15th and see how it's going, and we'll see how it's working for us as well to see whether or not it's something that even we should continue. But either way, we appreciate the opportunity. I think it's a good opportunity for the town to bring visitors to West Warwick that might not otherwise come here. So, I think it should be, I would like to see this be a positive event, not only for our business, but for the community as well. So hopefully it is.
Thank you
Wish
for
you
your
luck.
flexibility. Yeah.
Have a nice night, guys.
You too, Pat. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, approval of the fiscal year 2022 budget for the regional wastewater treatment facility in the amount of $9,471,674.
Move approval of the budget.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Councilman Licciardi?
I'm going to vote no. And my reasoning is because, and I'm not going to rehash everything, it's because of the admin fees.
Thank you. Councilman Messier?
Yes.
Councilwoman Williamson?
Yes,
And I vote yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Thank you.
Have a good
everyone.
evening.
You too.
Okay, upcoming appointments. Sewer Use Board of Review, one alternate member vacancy with a term to expire October 2021, and two vacancies with a term to expire October 2023. The Pension Committee, two vacancies with terms to expire November 18th, 2022 and November 18th, 2021. Recreation Committee, one vacancy. Tree Warden. Planning Board, two terms coming up to expire July 2021. Zoning Board of Review, two with a term to expire July 2021. Public forum. To participate, use the raise hand icon at the bottom right of your screen. Or if you're using a phone, press *9. The moderator will tell you when it's your turn to speak. Comments during public forum will only be heard and not acted upon by the Town Council. Section 42-46-6 of the Open Meetings Act and the Department of the Attorney General's advisory opinions relevant to this item on any public body meeting agenda specifically prohibits the Town Council from discussing, considering, or acting on any topic, statement, or question presented. The Town Council may, if warranted, refer such matters to an appropriate committee, to another body or official, or post the matter for consideration at a properly noticed future meeting.
Any public comment? Raise your hand. I do not see. We have 5 attendees. Nobody is raising their hand. I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
See you guys Thursday at 4:30.
Thursday.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Yep,
Bye.
thank you, Sarah.
See you later.